Okay, so I figured I'd post an update from my last video. This is my new place. I figured I'd show off the boglins. A little better light than I had last time. We're starting from the bottom. Here we go. These are the modern ones that Tim Clark makes by hand. They're kind of in the retro Mattel wrestling ring. This one I think is really cool. Reminds me a lot of the old ones. These are some of the big boglins that just kind of live on the bottom of the shelf. Wiggly tongue boglins without the tongue. The tongues actually rot on it. I'm sorry. The tongues actually rot on these a lot. And I just think they look better without the tongue. I'm pretty sure there's 3 of them, but right now I'm only seeing 2. But maybe the third one. There are some really good ones down here. For example, this guy is, I'll just call him Drool because that's what he's called in the States. He's normally this color, but here he is in blue. Not to mention, he's a hairy boglin. Yeah, so this is the bottom. As I'm going through some of these, I figured I would just say that, just a little bit of my story. I've been collecting these online since 2001, and I actually used to get them relatively cheap, like sometimes under $30, sometimes under $20. A lot of these are in boxes. That's my dog squeaking his toy in the background, by the way. Now they just have really risen in value. I would not be able to get this type of collection today. There actually is a boglin in there. It's my custom black one, which I don't really like that much. So he's kind of hidden. I have another blue Drool. No, he's not for sale. And here we go. These are really... Actually, before I get to the Halloween boglins, let me say these are also color variations that are very rare to find. But anyway, here they are, the Halloween boglins. These are like very popular. People who don't even really collect boglins just want the Halloween ones. I remember I went into Child World in Patchogue when I was a kid, and these were on like clearance. And they were everywhere. Now they're very hard to find. Bogglebones, skeleton. Blobkin, he's a jack-o'-lantern. And I remember I actually bought Bogglebones around 2000, I want to say 2. And I paid over $100 for it, and I couldn't believe how much I spent on it. Now I would spend that all day to get a second one. That was actually a pretty good deal. We're moving up. Here are my glow boglins. Some of these are pretty hard to get these days. There's the long tongue variation one. This one is ridiculously hard to find. It took me forever to convince a fellow collector to sell it to me. As is this guy. And these are just the long tongue boglins, which are another variation of the small ones. Only sold in Europe, not sold in the United States, I should point out. And just I think I'm titling this probably like biggest boglin collection or best boglin collection. I kind of think I have the best boglin collection in the world. By that I mean by sheer numbers and by like quality and quantity kind of combined. I think I have the most. These are the light and sound ones, which I'll get to in a second. I really like these. I don't count the small, tiny, like plastic boglins. So if you have like 200 of those, you technically have more boglins than me. That doesn't count. I'm talking about like the rubber puppets, more or less. Combine that with the quantity plus just the rarity I have. I personally haven't seen a collection better than mine. If you know of one with a better collection than mine, let me know. I would love to see it. But yeah, these are the light and sound boglins. They're supposed to make noises. What the hell is that supposed to be? I have no idea. These, I believe, were sold in the early 90s. Again, only in England. I have 2 boxed ones, which I'm going to get to in a second. This is another Tim Clark original. It's like my only mini boglin I have, but he's so cool. I had to get him. And these guys, Slog. Here's the one that you can order. And above, this is a one-off. 1 of 1. Custom. Really cool. There's a bunch of baby boglins in there. They're all crammed in there. Maybe about 12, 13, 14. These guys are pretty cool. They're not puppets, but they're all boglins. This one, this guy is supposed to shoot out, and this one, the eye is supposed to shoot out. And here we go. These possibly, I'm not gonna say they're my boglin grails, but they're close. This is Wart. He's very unique because a lot of the European releases were, besides the light and sound, were basically color variations. This is an original sculpt. He's got a little furry Wart there. Very rare, very cool. He's probably my favorite. My house is burning down. I'm grabbing this guy. And here we go. This guy is a bit controversial. Technically, he's not a boglin. He just looks a lot like one. This is an unlicensed, bootleg, knockoff, whatever you want to call it. Sold in Argentina. I believe early 90s, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But oh, he fell. He's basically like a Nerf. I did make a video just about him, so if you want to check that out, go for it. And what makes him very special is the box. This box is so rare. The artwork on it is really cool. I absolutely love it. It's called Maku, as you can see. Here is the little pin. This was sold by Cavity Colors, which is a great company for horror stuff. They sold little boglin pins. I'm not really a pin collector, but it's cool to have at least one. Here is the Cyclops Boggling. Again, this is something that Tim Clark makes now. You can order it now if you go to his website. Very cool and rubbery. His eye kind of jiggles around. And I think I might have not even mentioned this guy. This is a yellow Vlob, or whatever you want to call him. Brown hair. He's also very, very, very rare. They're mostly blue. And speaking of Vlobs of weird colors, this is a brown one. I don't know if this was a mistake or done on purpose, but he's literally the color of the one with the antennas, but who's normally always brown. But he's normally always, but this is the color variation of that. Light and sound boglins, glint and quirk. We saw the loose ones here. These are not, obviously, they're not sealed, but they live in their boxes. Yeah, they're 2 of my favorites as well. Probably behind the one I just showed you. They're original sculpts, only sold in Europe. They're really cool. I even have the instructions for glint, which is very cool. Obviously not in English. I think German, I want to say. Or possibly multiple languages. Here's my only sealed boglin. It's Lobster, which was part of the Soggy Boglins line. I got him at some, let's say, collectible kind of store. Yeah, he's sealed. He's never been opened. The box is not the best shape, but still pretty cool. And I only got him for $35. Here's the rest of the Soggy Boglins. The frog, slog, slobster, and snish, the fish. This is an anglerfish boglin. I think that's so cool. I love anglerfish. I love sea life. And Tim, again, makes this now. Combine the 2. Bat boglin. And here we are with these guys. These are like the hard plastic boglins that were sold in the States in the 80s. They're pretty hard to find. This guy right here is actually my childhood boglin. These two I had to get later on. They're freaking, I think they're a neat little collectible. They're not like the small mini boglins. They're a little different. They have articulated arms. And here are the 4 action boglins. Rasp being the rarest by far. And I think it's Eyeball, Spit, Squid. I don't remember that one's name. Spit. We're almost at the end here. The Shrunken Head Boglin. This is hard resin, I believe. Some hard material. This is a 1 of 1. This was at the Boglin Art Show in Clutter Art Gallery in upstate New York. Tim made this himself. There was a bunch of different one-off boglins that were only sold. This, not cheap, obviously, but I think it's worth it. It's pretty cool. I think shrunken heads are kind of cool in a creepy kind of way. Obviously, I like boglins. What's better than a shrunken head boglin? Yeah, 1 of 1 shrunken head boglin. This is like, it reminds me of like Labyrinth Dark Crystal. This is like a pitcher with boglin faces, and the other side, they're actually, you can put your hands through them. I have it hanging up, so I'm not going to take it down, but I know this is another thing that Tim is making these days. I don't know if it's still available, but I'm sure he'll make one. And actually, I'm going to get down to what I think is possibly my rarest piece, or close to it. The baby action spinning boglin, which are not easy to come by any means, but this one is mint on card. I bought this in the early 2000s just because I was just buying anything with the name Boglins. I had so many good memories of them as a kid. And I was just trying to buy anything that said Boglins on eBay. I don't think I paid that much for it. Thankfully, I didn't open it because I literally never see these carded. I'm not going to say it's the only one in the world, but I got to say it's probably under 10. If one of the few exists. Most people open these. Who would have bought this back in the day and say this is going to be worth money and kept it, packaged? Nobody. So this one somehow survived. He will never be opened. He will stay in his plastic prison forever. And I don't actually have the other ones or any loose ones. I just have him. I don't think they're worth the money people want for them. They want I feel like almost $200 for them loose. And as much as I love boglins, they're not worth that to me. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This is not scripted at all, completely off the cuff. So sorry if I'm forgetting some names, but here we go. You're going to see my dog walking by a little bit. This is what it looks like. All kind of squished in there. Any questions? Anything I forgot? Let me know. I'm sure I forgot something. But hope you enjoyed it.